Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Talk About It Tuesday with VA Careers Live. My name is Kendra Wilson Hudson, and I am a physician recruitment consultant for the Veterans Health Administration and your host for today's show. First off, I want to thank you for joining. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of your time with us each week as we talk about VA careers. Since it is the second Tuesday of the month, our regular viewers will know that this is question and answer day. If you happen to be joining us for the first time, these questions are selected from those audience members like yourself who have submitted across social media over the past week. But before we begin, I want to remind you that we want you to be a part of today's conversation. So feel free to leave comments or ask questions for us, and we will try to get to your questions and answer them while we're on the live broadcast. With that being said, let's get to some of the questions for this week. Let's talk about it. Today, I have a question that has come in from Tara, and the question is, are there any jobs for someone with only a BS in social work? Well, first of all, Tara, I want to thank you for your question. And to answer that, there are positions in VA as well as other government agencies that only require a bachelor's degree in social work. Some of those positions that I can think of off the top of my head are like the social services assistant, the social work associate. Those are in the 0186 and the 0187 series. And also there's a position called a social service representative. Now, the duties for these positions are performed for the immediate value that they can bring to the service, and is typically limited to problems that don't require the application of professional knowledge and insight to behavioral sciences. So those positions, such as, like I stated, the social work associate and the social services assistant, are positions that can be found throughout various agencies in the federal government. So not only in VA, but there are other agencies that have social services assistants and social work associates, as well as social service representatives. I hope that answers your question, Tara, and I wish you well in trying to find that position that you're looking for. Our next question came in from Sarah Lynn. Sarah Lynn says, I have applied to over 20 RN positions and I am never referred. I have the experience and qualifications, and I've used all of your resources to tweak my resume, and I still get passed over for positions. Do you have any tips? Well, Sarah Lynn, your question, I can try to answer it, but it's a little bit broad because of the fact that I don't have the privilege of actually seeing your resume, your CV, or whatever you're submitting for your position. What I can say is this: in various positions as RN, there may be different qualifications that may be needed. So for every job that you apply to, you need to make sure that you're checking to see what is required for the position and make sure that you meet those requirements. Now, I know that there are RNs across the nation who have their associate degrees, and with their associate degrees, they work an RN position. Well, there are a lot of facilities that are only looking for RNs that have bachelor's degrees, bachelor's and MSN. So sometimes you have to look at the qualifications to ensure that the experience that's needed, the qualifications that's needed, are what you actually have in order to apply for those positions. Some RN positions require certification. I forgot to tell you guys at the beginning that I do have an office mate. His name is Jackson. And if you hear anything in the background, just disregard Jackson. He's a dog, okay? So sometimes he doesn't know when he's supposed to speak and when he's not. But Sarah Lynn, I hope that the information that I provided to you concerning those RN position helps. And also, as you stated, you've used the resources that we've given you already to tweak your resume. So if you think that you put your resume together really well, I admonish you to look at what is in the qualification requirements and ensure that you have those requirements prior to submitting for a position. I wish you well in your search for an RN position, and I hope to see you in VA someday. I have a question that's come in from Kelvin. Kelvin asks, does using a federal resume really make a difference? Well, thank you for your question, Kelvin. And I will state this way. A federal resume is not required, but the difference in the federal resume and a regular resume is that the federal resume has various components that they want you to put on the resume. They have certain things that they may ask that a regular resume may not ask for or may not require. So if you're going to use a resume outside of a federal resume, I would say go into USA Jobs and actually look at what a federal resume requires and ensure that you put that information onto your conventional resume. And some of the things that we look at that may not be on a regular resume would be like, for example, if the job is full-time or if it's part-time. And if the position is part-time, how many hours a week are you working? Those are things that are required on a federal resume that you may not put on a regular resume. The federal resume may ask you for the salary that you made on a job. A regular resume is not going to ask that. But if you're going to submit a regular resume for a federal position, I ask that you would look on USA Jobs, look at the federal resume, see what it entails, and ensure that you have that same information on the resume that you're going to use to apply for a federal job. So, Kelvin, I hope that answers your question, and I hope that helps you in your search for a federal position. Amy has sent in, and she's saying, I have been applying for positions with the VA for a few years now. Initially, my application would not even be submitted to a hiring manager. Now, very shortly after I applied to positions I'm qualified for, I received notice that I'm no longer being considered with no interview, nothing. Is it possible that my profile is red flagged? Well, Amy, thank you for your question. And I can state as an HR professional and having worked in the HR staffing field for many years, we don't flag resumes. We don't flag applications when they're put in the system. I'm not sure what could be happening with your application at this point. But again, I say, make sure that you're reading through the requirements and making sure that your resume or your application has everything that is required for that job. For you not to receive a notification, that's kind of puzzling for me. And I say that because there are different times throughout the process that you will receive notification. For example, when you first apply to a position, when you first apply to a position, you're notified that your application has been received. Then they will tell you if you were qualified. Then you receive a notification saying that you were referred, and then you receive notification if you were selected or if you were not selected. So I'm kind of puzzled as to why you're not receiving any information at all concerning the position. But I hope that you would continue to apply. Don't give up. Don't give up. Continue to apply for positions, and also try to reach out to the point of contact on the application to find out if there's anything that you can do to improve your resume or possibly your chances at being referred to a hiring manager. I hope that answers your question, Amy, and I wish you well in your search for a career, hopefully in VA. Amanda sent in this question. She says, are there boundaries for telework positions? For example, can I live 2 hours away but go in for my designated office days? Because I would apply at the bigger VA that's further away if I could just commute in on office days. So I don't know if that's allowed. Thanks. Well, Amanda, things are changing daily with telework and with boundaries, and also with the amount of time people are able to work from home with telework. So, to answer your question, the question is again broad, and it depends on the vacancy, depends on the need of the facility. So, I wouldn't be able to tell you that you can live 2 hours away and then just go in on your designated office days, because sometimes it depends on the nature of the position, and sometimes it could depend on what's going on at that facility, that they may call you on a day that you're off and they may need you to come into the office. You're not going to be able to say, well, hey, this is not my designated day. In the area of healthcare, sometimes we have to be able to move at a moment's notice. So, to be able to answer your question and let you know if you can live 2 hours away, that would certainly depend on your job, and also depend on the supervisor, as well as what's going on with that position. I hope that you can get a telework position that would work for you, and where you can, move in quickly and not have to actually go in 2 hours away. Hopefully something closer will come open for you. Thank you again for your question, Amanda. I have a question that has come in from Nathan. And Nathan says, I am a 100% disabled veteran. My background is not in healthcare, and I don't qualify as a peer support specialist. What professional roles are there for me to apply to? Well, Nathan, I see several things here, but first of all, I want to thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Being a 100% disabled veteran, there are many positions that you may be able to apply to depending on your experience. And being that I don't have anything to see what experience you have, I can't tell you specifically what roles that you can apply to. I know, and sometimes people don't want to hear this, but sometimes just to get into VA or get your foot into a government job, you may have to take a position that's designated for veterans. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately because sometimes people look at this as a bad thing, but it's not. You may have to apply to a position where it's designated for veterans only, such as housekeeping. And when I say that, I know people like, oh, housekeeping. Let me tell you a quick story. I worked for a supervisor who now has retired from VA. She started in VA as a housekeeper, and she got in. She did the best she could as a housekeeper, and she kept watching the job board and kept applying and getting jobs, moving up in VA. And as she continued to apply for positions, I know you're not going to believe this, but this lady was phenomenal. She went from being in a housekeeping aide position to one day actually being over the human resources department at a facility, then moving on to the region, which is our VISN, and then actually working as a deputy director in a VISN. That's an amazing tribute to someone who's willing to do what she has to do to get in and then work her way up. So Nathan, I would say, without looking at your resume or having an application to look at, that you'll have to just look and see what positions you feel you qualify for and then apply to those. And if nothing else, apply for that housekeeping aide position and work your way up into a VA position. Just continue to work and continue to apply, work and apply until you get into the positions that you are suited for, or the position that you want to work in. Thank you, Nathan, for your question, and I hope that answered your question. I look forward to hopefully working with you in VA someday. Crystal has sent in this question. It's a short question, but it's a powerful, impactful question. It says, is it common for a job offer to fall through? Well, Crystal, thank you for your question, first of all. And when you talk about a job offer falling through, there are various reasons why a job offer could possibly fall through. I don't know what may have happened in your place or if it even happened at all. But I can say that there are various things that could have taken place. For example, a person can apply to a job, and when we're doing the background check, something comes up on the background that now disqualifies that person for a job. Though they may have been selected for the position, once we start doing background checks and things come back, it could prevent the person from actually coming on to VA, and we would have to actually then call that person and let them know that they're not qualified for the position any longer because of something that came up on their background check. There are also things that happen outside of beyond our control, such as budget constraints. If something comes up with the budget and we can no longer afford to hire in those positions, there are times when we have to make that hard call and notify someone that the job offer we're unable to extend the job offer or unable to keep the job offer because of situations that were beyond our control dealing with budgets. It happens, but it's not something that happens commonly. Okay. So there are various reasons why a person could potentially have a job offer rescinded or the job offer falls through. Could even be possibly when you have a physical and you don't pass the physical aspects of the job. So there are different things that can happen or transpire, but it's not something that commonly happens. Thank you again, Crystal, for your question. Now, I have this question from Jonathan, and Jonathan says, I recently applied for a job that closed over a month ago. I have not heard anything since. I reached out to the contact listed on the job announcement, but I haven't heard anything back from that either. I really want this job. Is there any other way to get status updates to see if I am still in the running? Jonathan, thank you for your question. And let me apologize. I don't know what has transpired that you're not receiving notifications or getting updates, or why, if you're sending in an email to the point of contact, that you're not getting a response. That should not be happening, Jonathan. I would say that if you sent an email to the point of contact, if you're able to reach out by phone to the HR department for that facility, contact the HR department for that facility. Sometimes all it takes is calling the facility, getting the operator and asking for human resources. And when you ask for human resources, you can let them know that you've tried to reach out to the point of contact, see if the point of contact is available by phone. And if not, ask to speak to a supervisor. Those are things that I can actually say that I would do if I'm wanting to receive a status update about a position that I really want to get into or want to find out the status of for myself. Again, I really am sorry that you're going through that. But on the same token, you have to be your own advocate. You have to advocate for yourself by whatever means that you need to get the answers that you need. So let me see if any questions have come in from the audience. Okay, it appears that I'm having trouble with my chat again. This happened the last time we were here, and I just don't understand. I thought I just had a lot of questions going on and that it was jumping around because you guys were just sending those questions in, but that's not the case. Therefore, when it comes to the questions that are in the chat, I'm going to have to go on to LinkedIn and answer your questions there. And I can assure you that I will answer the questions that you guys have sent in. Now, I will say that we are at the end of our questions at this point, but I want to say this. We are at the 12th month of this year, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. It has been a tremendous year for us with this Talk About It Tuesday, partnering with VA Careers and LinkedIn. And we couldn't have had this happen without you. So thank you so much. I hope that you had a joyous Thanksgiving, and we're moving on into the holidays that December brings, and then on to New Year's. Can you believe it? We're almost in 2025. We are 21 days away from New Year's Eve. I hope that you guys will have a safe holiday season. It has been my honor to chat with you guys weekly. It truly has been a delightful, engaging time. So I just want to let you know that we will be looking for you in 2025. Don't stop engaging with us. Don't stop applying to those jobs. We need you guys to apply to the jobs. And also, we need you to send in questions so that we can help you to actually get into these positions. Any questions that you think you may have, jot them down and we will answer them in the LinkedIn link. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. We hope that this information has helped you in some way. And for those of you who have submitted questions, again, thank you. And also know that it's because of you that we have the great broadcast that we have. Thank you for being a part of our broadcast. And we appreciate you and we appreciate your interest. So have a great day.